Hello, my name is Maria Kanellis-Bennett, and I am the first lady of professional wrestling. And I am a member of the board of directors for Ring of Honor Wrestling. And you can watch me every Wednesday on Women's Division Wednesday or Beyond the Bells, and also on Ring of Honor Television. You are watching the Battleground Podcast.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Battleground Podcast. Before we start bringing anybody into the show, we got to get to a quick little agenda. If you could follow us on Instagram, please do that for us. We're at Battleground Podcast on Instagram. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure you like it, comment, and subscribe. Tell all your friends about the show because we got a good guest on the show today. And let me bring in my tag team partner. There's my man, Eli. Eli, what's going on, buddy?
I mean, I thought you were just going to bring her in without even mentioning me, which is fine. I understand that.
I mean, she could have started off the show, which she does at the beginning of it. You know what? Let's just go ahead and bring her in. Let's bring in Maria Kanellis-Bennett. Maria, thank you for joining us tonight. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Good. Well, we had the hubby. It's actually been about a year now. I think it was August or September of last year. And he was in an amazing headspace, obviously, with getting back in with Ring of Honor and doing some of the indie stuff. So I'm sure you're going to have a lot of positive things to talk about with that as well.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, a lot of positive things are going on with Ring of Honor. And we recently just had the brand new Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, Roxy, which is, I'm very excited for her to be that face of that division, the youngest champion to have it. And, I mean, there was a big tournament for it, and she got the championship. What was the overall experience of curating this tournament like? And what do you think of the outcome as it pertains to the future of the women's division in ROH?
It was a long time coming. Last year, there was supposed to be a tournament, and that didn't happen. So there was a lot of women that were in the tournament that had been suggested to have been in it last year. So there was so much anticipation for the women that were involved in it. And I really feel as if when it was down to the final two, everybody was in agreement that those were the right final two. And it was amazing because along the way, so many people had, they had their predictions, it's going to be this person, it's going to be that person. But at the end of the day, I think that match was the best match of the night. And I think that Roxy is the best champion for the job.
For sure. And sitting there watching it, and I mean, it was just, it has the potential to be one of the top women's wrestling match of the year. And that was the match that pretty much kind of stole the show, in my opinion. And I mean, just watching them two go at it. And then you have Roxy, who is 19 years old. Yeah. And you really don't see that in a company that they say, you know what, we're going to strap the main title on somebody as young as Roxy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Rock is, she's mature beyond her years. And I think that's the one thing that people are really going to start to see, especially as she goes out and does interviews, is she's got a really good head on her shoulders. And I met her mother, I met her father, and they are wonderful individuals. And it was so funny talking to her mom because her mom told me, yeah, she may be a superstar when she's out there in the world, but when she's home, she's just Rock. She's just my daughter. Yeah. So, there's definitely, and I think that's great. I mean, that's how my parents always were with me. I started at 22. And I think having that grounding force is really important in a young champion.
For sure. And it's kind of funny because when we were talking to her about some stuff, she had a little run-in with her new dog that she had. And like, she was just like, I'm so sorry, guys. And I was like, it's okay. Like, dogs are allowed on the show. It is perfectly
fine. We love
dogs.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Well, so yeah, we just chatted with her, and we were kind of picking her brain about like what Booker T said to her after she won, and it's just a lot of forward momentum going on. She basically flat out said this belt's open to all challengers, and with all Ring of Honor has a long history of working with other companies, most recently NWA, but all kinds of companies around the world, and now of course you got the Forbidden Door. I mean, would you like to see the Ring of Honor title defended in other companies? I mean, or I mean, what's your opinion with that when she said it's open to all challengers?
So before Death Before Dishonor, before the show, before the title match, I came out in the hour before, which we give away a free hour of Ring of Honor television before our pay-per-views. And on that hour, I said that in Ring of Honor there is no door. Everybody talks about there being some forbidden door, but there is no door here. We'll work with whoever. We have worked with whoever. Most people that are in the industry today started in Ring of Honor.
Mhm.
So for us, it's more of if you want to compete with the best, you come here to do it. And whether that's the best of the future, the best of the past, the best that ever will be. And they all came from here. So I think that, I'm open to it. I've talked to Deanna, I've talked to Thunder, you've seen me tweet back and forth with a lot of these women. And
Mhm.
so, for us, it's no question. I mean, I
Yeah.
feel good about our champ. So I put up our champ up against anyone. The only person that I think she might have a little bit of difficulty with is Deanna. And just for the simple fact that Deanna and Rock have such similar temperaments in the ring, that I find that would
I can
be
see
an
that.
incredible match. They have wrestled before in another company. I think they've actually wrestled twice before. So, now that it's been a bit of time between those last two matches and this match,
Mhm.
it would be interesting to see the rematch.
For
Right,
sure.
and definitely Deanna has definitely more of a ruthless streak in her than
Yeah.
Roxy, and so I think talent-wise, they're about like this, but that
Hmm.
ruthlessness may be the
And the
deciding factor.
experience too. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Rock is just starting to compete at a high level, whereas
Mhm.
Deanna has been competing at a high level for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's different when, so much pressure. It's the main event. It's the big pay-per-view. It's all these things. They start adding up on a young champ.
For
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
And like you said, I mean, she's got a good head on her shoulders, and she even said she's like, "I'll defend it, but now I've got a target on my back." And I
Hmm.
know that we've had several of the female roster on our show, and I know that we made a very bold prediction that within a year from now, Mandy Leon was going to win that title, and we said that a couple months ago. So we got to kind of live up to our hype because
Mhm.
we don't want to let her down. Because she's like, if I don't win it in a year, I'm blaming you guys, and we don't want
Yeah,
that to happen. So.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with Mandy, Mandy has the experience. Mandy has the she has the ability, she has the tenacity. The only thing that I feel that would ever hold Mandy back is Angelina. And I think
She
that,
likes the spotlight. She wants the spotlight on her.
I
Yeah.
mean, and that's the only thing I feel as if might be something that could hold her back, but we'll have to wait and see.
For sure,
Mhm.
for sure. What do you where do you hope the Ring of Honor women's division will be in 5 years? Because right now, if you look at the division, it is stacked, and there is a ton of talent. And then just think 5 years from now. I mean, what are you thinking?
So I would put our division up against anyone. And I would definitely say, and someone else used this word, it's the freshest division out there. These are the names that you hear the most on the independent scene. Some
Mhm.
of them are signed to the roster, some of them aren't. And for me, I would like to have at least 15 women under contract, not necessarily working full time, because I think there's something to be said about going out there and killing it on the indies as
Mhm.
well. Um, but I want them to become more of a wrestling household name. I think that's the biggest thing, is the recognition that they deserve. All of these women worked their asses off in the last year so that they could keep their names during a
Absolutely.
pandemic.
Mhm.
That's how I found them all. I found them all through social media, through YouTube. So now it's the time to not only have them be internet famous, but also television audience famous.
For sure.
That's a very good answer. Yeah, that's that's excellent. Okay, so this is the part of the interview we kind of mentioned off the air. We're not going to rehash all the stuff with your former company. You've done that, but you are active in the wrestling community. Your fans, obviously, so you do have opinions. So we're
Mhm.
just kind of throwing random things out there. Are you surprised that wrestling? I mean, most factors, is arguably the biggest it's ever been. And yet the other company up north, they're still playing in their own sandbox. I mean, or do you think that's like par for the course and they want to keep everything in their own kingdom?
So we are in a punk rock culture right now, not just because punk is back on television, but
Hmm. Ring of Honor
um,
alumni, speaking of.
exactly. But we are in a punk rock phase. People have been held up in their houses. They have been told that they can't do what they want to do. They've been told this is the kind of wrestling you should like for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
And everyone kind of threw up their middle fingers and said, "No, I'm going to like the wrestling I want to like."
Hmm.
And I think you see it as a society outside of wrestling, but I think right now, because wrestling is a representation of society, that you're seeing it a lot here.
Yeah.
There has been talent that has been cultivated over many, many years now. A lot of them have basically had their wings clipped.
Yep.
And so now they're free to go back out there and show everybody why they're so popular. On top of that, everybody is working out differently.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So before it was, I'm going to, pump heavy weights and all this stuff.
Hmm.
Everybody functional trains now.
Yep.
So that wrestling window of maybe 5 to 10 years of being at your best is now 15, 20
Hmm.
years. You
Yep.
see CD and Frankie out there killing
Hmm.
it,
Yeah, for
moving
sure.
better than everyone else. And it's like, how long is the window of having your
Yeah.
very best years in wrestling?
Yeah.
So now all of those people for the last 20 years in wrestling are all at the top of their game.
Yeah.
So, and they all have ideas about this industry.
Hmm.
Plus, you add social media on top of that. And then you have people like Effie out there that is just killing it in his own
Uh-huh.
world. So it's like, this is the most exciting time in wrestling because, like, all with our powers combined, it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, and it's
It's
like,
great.
you kind of have the sandbox if you want
Mhm.
that specific thing,
Yeah,
and then you
of course.
also have everyone else working together and putting on the best show they possibly can.
Oh yeah, and like those women are amazing too.
Yep.
Like I watch the girls. I don't watch a lot of the guys stuff up there right now, but like I love Bianca. I love Becky. Like
Mhm.
I think that I think Sasha's great. So there are so many women that are amazing up there too. It's just a matter of what style of wrestling do you really want.
Yeah.
For
That's
sure.
that's probably the best way to display it.
And it's great because, like you said, we've got so many options, and you can literally turn on your phone or your TV or whatever, and you've got wrestling 7 days a week, pretty much 24/7. And I mean, I can't tell you, and this is probably just one of those things that stands out for a moment with you. I'll scroll through Twitter, and every time I'm through Twitter, there's the one scene from New Japan where it's you and the Bullet Club and that thing. And I'm just like, this is in my feed at least 3 or 4 times a week when I'm sitting there. And it's like, when
Mhm.
you think back to that, did you think that that was going to be a big moment that is like still relived on Twitter and everywhere in the IWC?
So if it was just that if it was just a dance and it was just the same thing that Carl and Doc and the Kingdom had done several times, no. But you add AJ in there and Carl just sweeping the hair out of his face.
Mhm.
Right.
That's it. We're done. Like
Yep.
it was, I, while we were doing it, it was one of those moments where I had to catch myself to not laugh
Right.
because
Yeah.
AJ's face and like Doc, like the things that Doc was yelling from the side, it was just, it was amazing. And
Yeah.
um, if I could relive that time in my career, I would 1,000 times over
Yeah.
because
For
it
sure.
was so much fun.
Well, that was kind of the precursor to this current boom too.
Yeah.
That's really when you started seeing the indies or the smaller guys getting a lot of attention. Um, this question may be more, I don't know if got to pull the curtain back a little bit, but do you, and it may only be like one or two things. What would you say is the biggest difference between, say, a Ring of Honor produced show and a Vince produced show?
So as far as my part in what I'm doing right now, um I am not I am not micromanaging.
Mhm.
I don't do that. I
Well,
don't
that's
believe in
vastly different from him right off the bat. So yeah.
that. Is there an idea? Yes. Is there a concept? Is there a direction? Sure. Can that direction change? Of course it can.
Yeah. But you
Um,
got to have a
but
direction.
I do not micromanage. I do not give people a script. There's a few women that want more structured scripts, sure. But for the most part, we do not micromanage. And everyone is collaborative. So we will sit down, we will discuss it. If it's not working, let's fix it. If someone's suggestion is better, let's do that.
So you're
Um,
saying you don't let your ego get in the way of a good story.
no, I don't care, and I don't
That's a
want
change of place. That's
I
vastly
I
different
don't
from what we've
want
heard.
to be the focus. I
Yeah.
I've spent 17 years in this industry. I can take a step back. I'm totally fine with that. I don't If my idea sucks and if the segment sucked, I will own it and say I'm sorry. It was
Mhm.
I did it. It's my
awful.
bad. My
Mhm.
I
bad.
will fix it. Like I am okay with that. Because at the end of the day, everything stops with me.
Yeah.
And I don't that's just how I work.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like we will try things. And whatever it is, we'll figure it out. And there's many things over the course of this tournament that did change. And there's many, even the guys have thoughts and ideas about it, and
Mhm.
especially veterans like the Briscoes or Lethal, or if they ever have a suggestion, I want to hear it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gresham, these brilliant minds in wrestling, I want to hear them. I don't Yeah, I have no ego. I just don't. And it's also, in a sense, it's freeing for me, because like I
Mhm.
do have promos and stuff I've got to do when I'm working, but I'll literally be backstage, like in my like leggings and whatever, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm up in like 10
Yeah.
minutes, and like
Here we
throw
go.
something on, and my hair is like
Yeah.
crazy, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll figure it out when I go out there, because
Yeah.
that isn't what's important. What's
Right.
important is the girls that are new and trying to get out there in the world are being given the best platform.
For sure.
That's the name of the game.
And you talk about the whole backstage thing. Like recently, I made like an in ring debut kind of a thing for Impact Wrestling. So I was like a guest manager or whatever. But
Uh
it's
huh.
so cool peeking behind the curtain and watching how the match is set up and where this person's gonna be.
Who's in
It's
Gorilla?
as a
Who's doing
wrestling
this?
fan, like I knew what all went into a wrestling match, but then putting myself in that position, it's just
It's
it's
real different.
mind-boggling, just
Mhm.
everything that goes into creating.
All the moving parts,
Exactly. And
as
it
a
was like,
fan, you can kind of forget that it's not just, competitor A, competitor B, and the ref. There's way more going on across
right.
many levels.
Oh yeah, and I mean, one of the most like interesting things right now about Ring of Honor is the fact that because we don't have a crowd, we are trying to figure out what comes next.
Yeah.
Um what's going to be good, what's not, and you're also trying to play to an audience that doesn't give any feedback.
For
Mhm.
sure.
So here we are, and we have to make sure we hit those cameras, because that's all we got right now.
Mhm.
And our production team is fantastic. I like They are amazing, and they capture everything with the quick moving style of Ring of Honor. Like the fact that they capture what they do is incredible, but
Mhm.
you must remember that that's who you're playing to right now.
Mhm. And
Right.
and and Ring of Honor's gotten critical acclaim for how they've handled the pandemic. I mean, it's just
Hmm.
been unbelievable, from paying everyone before everything got started to all the protocols. I mean, it's just been some other companies could have taken the example that they started with.
Yeah, for sure, especially at the beginning, you
Yeah.
know,
Oh, without a doubt.
especially at the beginning when we didn't know what the hell was going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Because we were I think we were what, one of the last three shows that Ring of Honor did, because it was Nashville, and then it was St. Louis, and then it was off to Vegas, and then that's when
Mhm.
everything shut
Everything shut
down.
down. Mhm.
And it was a cool thing, because everybody that we had on from Ring of Honor, like Eli was saying, everybody had high praises for Ring of Honor. It was like nobody got laid off,
Mm-mm.
nobody got their pay change, nobody. Ring of Honor took
No
care of
garbage bag
everybody.
stories. None of that.
Yeah, none of
No.
that stuff. And that was the thing that you sit there and you look back and you think, this is the kind of company that you want to work for, because they're taking
Mhm.
care of their people, even though
Mhm.
they're not filming anything right now. but there's enough in the video archive that they could be like, here's the best of Flip Gordon this weekend, or here's the best of blah.
Of course, Honor Club, you can access all that. So
Yeah, and the
it
pure
was just
division came out of the pandemic, which I
Mhm.
think is one of the best things that came out of this is,
yeah.
showcasing the pure division again. And also you had an opportunity to think back on some of the matches of the past and the pure champions of the past.
Mhm.
And kind of bringing that concept forward again. So yeah, I mean, I I wouldn't have felt comfortable going anywhere else. Ring of Honor took care of us.
For sure.
I was okay coming home to a less than a year old son, which when I first started working for Ring of Honor, again, my son was 11 months old. And, that's a terrifying thing as it is.
Mhm.
But then to have a pandemic, you're like, oh shit, what is, what's
Right.
gonna happen? We didn't
Yeah.
know.
Ugh.
And
So, they took care of us. They continue to take care of us. We continue to be tested. We continue to have protocols. We, have temperature checks at the door. All of these things to keep us all safe has been incredible. And, one thing, I don't know if it's been talked about anywhere, but we have town halls
Mhm.
where the entire crew gets on. If anybody has suggestions of what we should be doing, how we should be doing things differently, any suggestions, our bosses are on that
That's
call
awesome.
and they listen. And sometimes it's a very brief call because we don't have a whole lot to say or going on, but sometimes it's a little bit longer. And to have people that listen is amazing.
Yeah. Well, it proves they care. I mean,
Yes.
they're taking care of you on every level. And then, oh, by the way, we want to hear what you have to say. Like I mean, what more can you ask for, I guess?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, kind of just what you were saying about how they've done great. Like when we had Mike on, he was like, they've treated us good. Like I get to spend more time with my family. Like everybody gets to come with us. And like when we had him on the show, you can genuinely tell that he got his smile back. Like he fell back in love with wrestling.
Not to
like,
quote the company again, but
yeah, sorry.
but
like,
you could tell that spark for pro wrestling was back.
Like any wrestling question we talked about, like it was just grinning ear to ear. And I was like, it's back.
Oh my gosh. If I hear about one more pure match, I'm going to lose.
Because he's got a big match coming up against another Ring of Honor star with Dickinson for that title.
I know. Yeah. And that match has been a long time coming. So I can only imagine they're going to go out there and light each other on fire or something.
Yeah.
Like the anticipation of it. And that's of course Dickinson's the guy to do that with, but like still at the same time, like I have an anniversary coming up.
So got to keep mama happy. Geez.
Yeah, we don't need anything happening before the anniversary. So so recently we chatted with another one of your friends, Gail Kim, who is a producer of the recent NWA Empower, the all women's pay-per-view, which was absolutely amazing, as well as the upcoming Impact's Knockouts Knockdown pay-per-view, which we were at a part of some of the tapings here in Nashville. In a perfect world, do you think we could ever see like a multi-promotion all women's pay-per-view? And if so, like who would you want to fantasy book as the main event?
Woo! You're asking a lot right now, but
we're to the T-bone part of the question now.
Fantasy book. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a couple answers on this. Sorry, it's gotta happen.
Go for it. You've got the pencil, so you make the card.
Yeah.
I would love to see Rock versus Deanna. And I've had this fantasy booked in my mind for a little while now, but I'd like to see Trish Adora
she's so good.
versus yes.
I was very excited to see her name show up on the tournament.
I actually have very exciting news this Wednesday on Beyond the Bells. So
checking that out. Right.
But I would love to see Trish Adora versus Nicole Savoy in a Pure Rules match.
Ooh.
So those are two.
Yeah.
But I'd also love to see Allie Ketch versus Lufisto.
Oh wow. Yeah,
so
there we go.
There's three. How many did I say I was gonna get?
I think Maria's just gonna book the whole show right now. So
I'll book the card.
Yeah.
Tag match, the Hex.
Ooh, my
Um,
favorite new tag team.
oh my gosh, so good. I love them. I just
I had higher hopes for one of them in the tournament, but I get it. It any given Sunday I get it. But no, they're incredible as a tag team. Love them.
yes. And I don't know if you know Willow and Queen Bee and their
Uh-huh.
I would love to see
That
them
would be a
do
match.
matchup.
Yeah.
Now,
Uh,
that you've booked the card, what do we call this pay-per-view?
yeah. That would be
You
the
know what?
thing.
I don't know, but I would also do Ashley Vox versus oh gosh, oh what shoot, what is it? How do you say her name? Kaya. Oh, I can't. And she wears black and yellow. Kanaya, Kanaya. I think it's Kanaya. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, she's incredible. So yeah, there's a few I would
When you
book.
said that, I just thought of Britt Baker because of Pittsburgh. So that's not it. But yeah.
But that's not even touching the other companies.
Oh no,
I
no.
mean,
Well,
then you got Britt and Ruby, which we're gonna get. But like, I just there's a
well,
lot.
if you want to, you can book the whole card, and then we'll talk to the money people and see what we can do. So
You know what? I think it's gonna happen. If I had to bet on it, I would guess it's going to happen.
yeah,
I would expect it would happen in the next like year or 2 years. And I don't think it'll be a 1-day event. I think it'll be a 2-day event, and I
yeah,
think it'll be WrestleMania-esque
yeah.
in a lot of ways.
Nashville's a good place to have the show, right?
It's got a good crowd there.
Yeah, a lot of history here.
I'm just trying to bring as many shows to Nashville as we possibly
yeah,
can.
exactly. Yeah, but I mean, if you go back to the 80s, I mean, they did super shows. I mean,
yeah.
they had I know the AWA, CWA, and the WCCW had the big super card, and I know that's where Jerry Lawler won the whatever. And so I mean, it's been done before, and I think there's enough, except for the one company, I think there's enough talent to get around to do a 2-day thing. I think, yeah, we're right on board with it. I think it'd be incredible. This question is about your wrestling career.
Okay.
So we've talked about like you said, the life expectancy of a professional wrestler is a lot longer than it used to be. We even just saw Sting recently, 62, and people are like, "Holy crap, are you kidding me?"
Insane.
Yeah. Now he's not going to be an every week guy. We get that, but I
No.
mean, 2 or 3 times a year, he can still go.
Yeah.
You also have an amazing stat in your career. You were the first woman to hold a championship while pregnant. May not have been in the cards, but congrats on that. But anyways, obviously women can do anything, so why wouldn't you be able to hold the belt? Concerning your in-ring career, is there one talent that would be able to get you to come back into the ring for one final match?
Probably not. I'm not in that place right now.
Yeah.
I was asked a ton while the tournament was going on, and even after I was released from WWE, to get back out there and wrestle. I don't know why anybody wants to see me wrestle, but they do.
Mhm.
So I've been asked a lot, and I want the focus to remain on the division,
Mhm.
and I just don't think now's the time for that.
Yeah, a lot of
Maybe.
people. I was gonna say, when we interviewed Mickey, that's the, are you gonna wrestle in Empowered? She's like, it's not about me, and
Mm-mm.
same thing with Gail. They're getting those questions again about her doing something. Like, this is for the current girls, it's not for
Yeah.
me.
And that's the problem, is like, as soon as you start wrestling again, people are like, when are you gonna get the title? Blah blah.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Mhm.
no, that's like, it muddies the water too much. No, thank you. I'm
Yeah.
all set.
Makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we've had some fun talking with you, and before we let you go, where can people keep up with you online, and is there anything you want to leave everybody with before we sign off?
Sure. You can always follow me on my Twitter, which is Maria L. Kanellis. My Instagram, which is Maria Kanellis. I also have a Facebook, but I don't do a ton of stuff with my Facebook. It's official Maria Kanellis. You can also catch me on Wednesdays on Women's Division Wednesday, or on Beyond the Bells, which is also on Wednesday, and that's on the Ring of Honor YouTube channel. You can catch me sometimes on Ring of Honor television, but I usually try and keep myself off so I can focus on actually writing the show.
Mhm.
It's kind of important. And you can always catch me in random interviews here and there. So,
Like this one.
Like this way, yeah.
but yeah, no, I have a Patreon and I've got that kind of stuff too. I should probably do more with it. I think my followers get a little irritated with me, but I'm like, I'm busy. I got kids,
Yeah.
man.
They don't understand that.
I'm running a wrestling show. Geez.
But yeah, so there's lots of places to check it out. And I would say, like, if you want to catch the complete story of the women's division from Ring of Honor, you're gonna definitely want to watch Women's Division Wednesday, because we go back and forth. We have our own all women show every single Wednesday, but then we also have television matches that are usually every other week or every third week. So um lots and lots of women's wrestling.
Right.
I think that's what we need more in this world, especially just a dedicated women show every week. Because I mean, most of the time you see a quick match like that and it's over, and then everything else is gone to the wayside. So that's great stuff. Again, what Ring of Honor is doing is the best thing in the world. And
Thank you.
Maria, I just want to say thank you again for coming on the show. And we'll have to do this again next time, and we'll have you and Mike on the show together.
Yes, for sure. And then I can just actually put them in the dust as far as like a newlywed game.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
That'll be
We'll,
great
we'll get
stuff.
some. We'll load the questions up real good. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.